Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm so sorry, I'm just recovering from fever, so my voice is cracking, but I will try. This is my story. I was born 43 years ago, and I grew up with a reputation for being bold, brave, and bright. However, my outspoken nature often lead people to comment that I was too forward and prompt. At the age of 3, I began attending school, but it was during this time that I started experiencing unusual sensitivities. I could perceive things that others couldn't, such as sensing the presence of good spirits and bad spirits around people. When I shared these feelings with my parents, they couldn't understand what I meant. But men of God recognized something special in me, telling me that I was a unique being. As I grew older, I realized this gift was setting me apart from others, drawing me closer to a divine presence that I couldn't grip at that time. I later came to understand that this presence was God. I could often talk to him in my thoughts at any time of the day, while walking or engaging in different activities. Growing up in a devout Christian family, faith was an integral part of my life. My grandfather, a respected figure in our Anglican church, would wake up at 5 a.m. every day to pray. Morning devotion was a must in our household, and practicing in church activities was encouraged. My father was also an active member of the church, serving as a youth leader. Despite being surrounded by people, I didn't have close friends growing up. My unique experiences and sensitivities create a sense of isolation, but they also deepen my connection with God. Despite being, I got baptized at the age of 12. My mom gave me the name Josephine. I never knew the meaning of the name until recently, when I began to ask God questions why my life seems so strange. My life took a dramatic turn when I entered junior secondary school. I began experiencing migraines, which made studying extremely challenging, and I was frequently hospitalized due to malaria. Whenever I was sick, I wouldn't eat nor drink for days. I remember a period while I was sick and my parents had to attend a wedding. They instructed my sleep brain to cover me up if I die before they return. But God will never leave me nor forsake me. I survived. I have a song I want to sing. The song goes thus. Lord, you've been a shelter in the rain. You have been a doctor in the pain. You have been a listener when I call. Oh Lord, you've been my friend. Oh Lord, you've been my friend. And you've been my friend. However, when I began menstruating, my head problem worsened I was diagnosed with a kidney infection, and my academic performance suffered significantly. Feeling lost and uncertain, I turned to the Bible. Prayer and fasting was my solace. Psalm 27 verse 10 became my anchor, reminding me of God's presence and power, which says, "Though my father and my mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." A turning point came when I failed my O-levels exam and I had to attend a college of education instead of a university. Although I faced ridicule and social exclusion, I clung to my faith and persevered. My academic performance improved dramatically, and I eventually met my future husband. While I was about to enter university, he was a practicing Muslim, and the first thing he says to me was he wanted to marry me. But how could that be possible, knowing fully where I came from? We became friends, and when my parents got to know about our relationship, the battle started. We dated for 4 years before I went for my youth service in another state. Before I left, we decided to end our relationship because of the religious differences. Getting to the service, I devoted all my time for evangelism, going for rural evangelism in prison, hospitals, and motherless baby homes to preach Christ. But still, my health was a big issue for me. I became the lady with an issue of blood from the Bible. While I was there, I thought of ending it all because that particular state, Ondo State, was known for ritual, and I have escaped so many attacks while I was looking for accommodation there. The thought was to allow myself to fall into one of their hands and end it all. I rather die. I set out for the journey for this purpose and went on an express road. But funny enough, an expensive jeep picked me up, and while I was in the car, he kept asking me, what is wrong with my relationship with God? Where have I put my faith? If I sincerely have a relationship with God, he dropped me off, and that day I cried like a baby. I still feel the pain, because I know it's as if I was putting God to shame. On a fateful day, I think of calling my ex-friend, who is now my husband, and we started all over. But this time on a mutual friendship. The service year ended and I got to my state, only to find out there was lockdown. I have to call my now husband for a lift home. Getting home, my parents were so mad at me, saying the person that brought me home, and the battle began afresh. I was home searching for a job and a solution to my health problems because I kept the issue of blood to myself. I was the lady with an issue of blood of that time. I was always bleeding every day. I went to see so many prophets, as it was the practice in my country, but didn't let my parents know because we only believed in Bible and prayers in my family. But while on this journey, there was no solution until a day I went to a fake man of God, who I knew was a ritualist, but there I met God in his glory. And he was speaking through this man, telling me without him, Christ, abiding in me, and me staying in him, there is no solution for me. How I cried on that fateful day, I decided to come out boldly to my parents about my journey and experience. But my dad gave me a Bible verse, which is John 16:33, and encouraged me to relent in trusting God. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. I think this verse is talking about the passage. Like in this world, we will face tribulation, but we should be calm because He has conquered the world for us. So, searching for a job was fruitless, and my health issues were getting me overwhelmed. Another thought came, and I felt like, let me get pregnant and give birth and die in the process. My child will represent me on earth. But I have to look for a man that truly loves me. Any man that comes my way, I will show him the doctor report, and they will either mock me or leave. But my husband stayed, and that was how I got pregnant, not knowing God's way is totally different from mine. Isaiah 58, 8-9. Then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. Then your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be rear guide. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and He will say, here I am. Oh, I suffered it. Everyone was against me. I lost friends and family. But my mom stayed to support me because she thought, who could have married her with these health issues? Giving birth was very difficult, and I was beginning to feel dead. So I was not even making attempts to increase my faith. So I delivered through an operation. Immediately I was handed the baby, I forgot about death. And that was the happiest day of my life. I was also mocked for giving birth through an operation that God has not forgiven me for getting pregnant out of wedlock. I stand up to the challenge through prayers and tell God, if you won't build my home, I will labor in vain. You have to heal me or kill me. I got pregnant again. During the delivery, the pain was killing. I opted for an operation again. While they were preparing for the operation, I began to sing praise, and a gynecologist came in to ask if she can join her faith with mine. I answered yes, and that was it. I gave back to Oluwasejibomi like a Hebrew woman. My dad came to the naming of the second child because he only showed at the hospital during my first child and said we can start preparing for our wedding. After the wedding, exactly 3 years later, I gave back to Mojololua. To God be the glory. Our marriage was not without challenges, as our families opposed our union. But God was present. Whenever I knelt down to pray, my husband usually knelt with me, and we pray in Jesus' name. Christ has been the pillar of my home. So many people ask questions and get confused. How can two different people with two different religions stay together? And to God be the glory, we have been living together for 16 years. He knows Christ and believes in his power and his resurrection. Since I gave birth to his son was a miracle, and that is the meaning of his name, Oluwashijibumi, God shield over me. I remember an aunt asking me how I gave birth to that boy without operation, cause false revelation already given by many that I would deliver through operation and I would die. However, I trust God's plan and we eventually have 3 beautiful children. Despite initial health concern, I gave birth to my children without complications and my health issues miraculously disappeared. This is not in the book, but when I got here to the UK, my first aim was wanting to be sure if it's a perfect healing. I went to different hospitals with different tests, but surprisingly, nothing was found. Coming to UK was a revelation from God. At first, all I see when praying is a place with different beaches, because I was actually praying for a federal job in my country. I thought this should be Port Harcourt or Lagos on the coast in my country, but as God will have it, it was Scotland. My husband and children were against our relocating, and all families and friends thought my husband must be charmed for leaving a huge business and relocating to an unknown destination. But the situation started getting worse because Nigeria's importation policy affected my husband's furniture business. We have to move. Although the accommodation and sponsorship process was daunting, God provided unexpected opportunities and we were offered sponsorship by 2 companies. My new place of work was hell on earth for me, and there has been a lot of conspiracy against me, but I don't doubt God will see me through. Throughout my life journey, Psalm 16 verse 8 has always been my guiding verse. Keep my eyes away on the Lord. With him on my right hand, and I will be shaken. Let me put it in my own way that I understand. I have set the Lord always before me. He is always at my right hand. I shall never be moved. I am grateful for God's unveiling presence, guidance, and provision. Thank you for listening to my story. I want to sing another song. The song goes thus. When I open up my eyes and look at my past, all appears to be filled with wrong. I look at my today and it's just the same. I have a reason to fear the unknown, but I have a living God who has tomorrow in his hands. He told me not to fear, that he will take care of me. Yes, to God. You are the Lord of my past. Lord, you are the Lord of my today. You are the Lord of my future. I give to you my heart. I cast my fears and cares me.